Again, I'm really clipping mindlessly. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. A beautiful autumn day, and it's perfect time to think about repotting. And repotting is the time to restyle the tree and reposition the tree and find the right pot to accentuate the beauty of the tree. And the reason why you want to do in the fall or the springtime, all the way from late fall to springtime to repot your tree, because that's the time that the leaves grow the slowest. That's not quite true with juniper, but for deciduous trees especially, it stopped growing basically much, but the roots will continue to grow usually. And so when you repot it, you usually damage the roots or you reduce the roots. So that's a way to compensate for the lack of slow growth. And you will also trim the tree to compensate for the root loss to balance between the amount of foliage that will push out to the amount of the moisture and nutrient will be sucked up by the roots. And it's a balance that keeps the tree alive. So that's the most efficient time to repot your tree because you're least likely to kill your tree. So now this tree is an interesting history. I planted about 100. I would say maybe 80 of them survive around my house for landscaping to hold the slope and so forth. And this is actually one of the lackeys in a place where it didn't get much water and really struggling. You can see this tree was really not in great shape when I got it, and it was barely alive, but I decided to save it. But so that's the kind of the philosophy you need to take. Try to salvage your tree and let it grow. Use the basic design and let it grow, and then modify it and use the opportunity to reshape it. This tree is very small in size, but it shows the age versus some of the ones that 26 years ago that I planted at the same time, and now the trunks are this big. So the growth rate is also very much dependent on the growing condition. With that in mind, then now I will now try to redo this tree. The first thing I need to do is to take it out of the pot so that I can truly see the roots and reorient it before I decide what to do with it. So with that in mind, then I will take it out of the pot. And because the tree was so lopsided that I actually did tie down this tree because otherwise the tree will fall. So let me untie because there's only a single hole. What I did is I took the two wire, which is actually aluminum wire, and turn it around and around to tighten it. And so once I loosen this, it would just come right out of the pot. I don't like to tie my trees too much to the pot. It's just kind of a nuisance to having to spend time to get it out. So you see, it comes right out. Now, let me come to the front and try to look at the orientation of the tree. So this could be a relatively tall tree, and I don't quite like this because this is such a drastic change from the bottom in terms of the thickness of the trunk. And then the other hand is that this branch seemed like going out too far. But on the other hand, this could be a design option. So this would be one design option. I make this the apex, make this come down, make this come down, make this come down more. It will be a tall tree, which is actually quite amazing layers. So let me look at the alternative. If I do this, you can see the tree is not tilting as much, and I'll make this the apex. I can be drastic, make this a side branch and this coming down. I think it will be quite fantastic, actually, by taking advantage of these growths. So let me go with this assumption because I don't like it to tilt out that much. And this could be in the same size, same pot. It will be the Literati style, in a sense, a lanky, tall one. That would be very different from my other trees. So that's what I'll do. So for example, this is coming up like this. So this could be the apex, and that's not bad. So to not get confused in the future, I'll just plug off some of the growth here. This can be the apex. Yeah, why not? And I like a branch to go that way. So I'll actually cut it off here. And so that's the pad with a little bit of wiring going backwards this way. And then this one will come down. And then this will go back. I think this branch coming down is very natural. This one a little bit contrived, going too far. So just to be drastic, let me make this into a gin. It will make the tree spectacular with a kind of a gin sticking out there. And that's easy to do now that the tree is still alive. And you can use any hand tools that works for your liking, because every one of us have favorite hand tools. You don't really necessarily have to buy expensive tools that's designated bonsai, because they tend to double, triple, quadruple the price for what you get. Be practical. I mean, why spend frivolously? You see, that would look very interesting. Look at that. Basically, you will have an apex there, and then this comes down, and this comes down. And then this is a gin, and then this comes down. I think this is a very beautiful gin when it's all cleaned up. Juniper actually grows pretty fast once it gets going. So I can do this. See, I break this a little bit to get this angle, and I'll tie it to retain this angle, which is not difficult to do. Again, I'm very, very casual. Just do whatever is necessary to get the job done without being, following the tradition, wiring and all that good stuff, which is good. But I'm very conscious of my time. I'd rather do it, use it for something more productive if I can get this done in a efficient way. So this branch, you can see, is going way too far in the other direction, or for that matter, down. Oh, actually, it could be interesting. Nah, that's too contrived. So you create these little interesting vignette, I call it, a little turn to catch the eye. And people say, ooh and ah about it, and that's what makes a bonsai impressive. It's the overall picture as well as the little details that catches people's eye. So this will be a branch coming down and make a turn that makes it kind of interesting. And then this one is coming down and make a turn here, and that's interesting. So I will cut off here and try to make a little pad over there. And like this one, that's way too long, so yeah, I cut that off. And hopefully this will grow out to give me a pad here, and this pad here, and then maybe this one here. Nothing to write home about. By the time when I'm done with it, it will be pretty bare. I will let it grow out a bit before I wire it and all that to do the next round. So this tree, in fact, has not been worked on for at least 5 years. So you got to kind of start over again. And now this branch. So again, this would be the apex. And I want to remember that. And then this comes down, this comes down. And then this, again, I need to take advantage of those little branching that's already created. Like this branch, it probably should come down some. So again, I'm breaking it and then try to tie it down because I want to get the angle right because that's essential to as part of the design. Juniper is actually really easy. If you look at this, for example, look at these here. These are little bumps. If you air layer it, that's where the roots will come out. They're really easy. I'm not sure exactly what the right word is. I think interstitial roots that would emerge as soon as it gets really wet. So juniper, when it hits the ground, it will root. It's because of that. They're very easy to propagate. It just takes time to develop the age look. So you want to start early and put them in the ground, let it grow, like I did this one. It's 26 years ago or 27 years ago, and you can see you just can't buy the time, And this branch, I wanted to go a little bit to the back, so I tied to that branch. You see, now this is coming down. And then I will clip off the excess. So like this branch, you want something to go out this way, so you clip off here. So this branch would be a pad here. And then these, you cut off the excess. And you really want this branch to go out this way. So I have no choice but to wire this a little bit, which is fine, also for the sake of quickly getting into the design that I like. So the question, do I do it here or do it here? I think I like to do it here for now. And then later on, I can certainly change my mind and cut this off and let this be the branch. So for this one, I have no choice but to wire it. I shouldn't say that. For this case, I should take advantage of the wiring technique to shape that branch quickly. I don't use very thick wire, and also wires that are fairly visible so that they can hide when I want to remove them. So you can see wiring is a useful technique to speed up the shaping process, not totally depending on the clip and growth method, which could add another year, not that much more, but nonetheless, right now I don't want to waste that spend that 1 year, so I'm doing it. Again, I'm really clipping mindlessly because it doesn't matter, because I will wire it or do whatever necessary the next time around. About 3 months or 6 months from now, there will be plenty of growth for me to work on. So I just cut this off. This little piece will take over. So this one is sticking up. Again, I want to speed up the developmental process. So I'm going to wire this branch to pull it down to speed up the styling process. So let me pull off the mesh, or the original mesh. You can see the remaining roots is very fibrous, because when they go through that mesh, they get clipped by the fine holes, and that keeps the fibrous roots inside rather than big winding roots that you need to repot. So my technique, root pruning technique, is one way to prevent the need for having to frequently repot your tree. I try not to cut off the roots, but you can see how vigorous the roots are growing. This tree is very healthy, even though it looks very skinny. It's a Literati style. Junipers are very forgiving. The roots grow very vigorously. As I said, you can easily grow from cuttings. So if you are a little bit brutal in cutting the roots and all that to fit into the pot, there's really no problem. This is really not the right tool. It should be a hook to comb it out. But look, this tree's got a lot of roots. Absolutely with no reason to die, but to thrive, because it would root out very quickly. Since there's no anchoring holes, you have to do something like that to hold the tree. In conclusion, I have taken this bonsai out of the pot and reoriented a little bit. I think this is the appropriate pot, but the main thing is I changed the apex from here to here and create an interesting gin, and it's not too contrived because it's still within a nice confine rather than kind of growing out this way and up that way too tall. And in 3 to 6 months, I'll show you how this tree has branched out to become a very nice literati style bonsai. So thank you very much for watching today. If you think this tree is good looking and this video is informative, please click like and subscribe to our channel. Tell a friend about our channel. and send us your email address and the city you live in, or the email address, or the mailing address, so that we can notify you of trees as they are becoming available. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned. I see you next week.